365 Sports.
All right, welcome in back to the show, 365 Sports Mizzou. Happy Wednesday. Another day talking Mizzou, all things Mizzou. We are one day closer to the bowl game. Actually, 10 days away from today will be a Gator Bowl, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl in Florida between the Virginia Cavaliers and the Missouri Tigers. A matchup that I'm excited to get into because I think it's one of the most fun, on paper, one of the most fun non-playoff bowl matchups out there this year. So as that gets closer, we'll continue. We'll talk more about it. But it's still 10 days away. So we've got a while between now and then. So we're going to talk other things. Mizzou football is still top of mind for a lot of Missouri fans because this time of year, you got the bowl game, you got people transferring, you got coaching rumors, everything like that is exciting to talk about, to think about. And yesterday there was a big kind of press conference. Drinkwitz addressed the media for the first time in a while. He addressed the media, and it was a really well done press conference. A lot of stuff was talked about. He covered a lot of ground. And so I figured I'll kind of talk about that because there is some news that came out of that press conference, and that we can kind of go through some of the big points. The first thing that was kind of news breaking in this press conference was Drinkwitz was talking about a couple of players that he doesn't expect to play in the bowl game, and that is you have, Josiah Trotter, who is out with an injury, a minor knee injury. I guess he kind of banged it up against Arkansas a few weeks ago. He is not going to go. And it makes you wonder if it's the last time we've seen him play for Missouri, but I think that's going to depend on if he gets a good draft evaluation, because I think it's a pretty likely scenario that he'll be back. So Trotter is out. Also out is Brett Norfleet. We knew that he was kind of banged up, but he is out for the bowl game, and he probably, I guess he could come back, but I think he has eligibility at least. But it all depends on where people are going to say they're going to get drafted. So we'll see about him. Also, you have, of course, Joshua Manning transferring. You have Marquise Davis transferring. You have Brennan Haygood transferring. Drinkwitz broke this news yesterday. You have Javion Hilson transferring. The edge rusher from Florida. He didn't play much his true freshman year. Was a really big-time recruit last year in last year's class. He committed to Missouri on signing day. I remember I was covering signing day for the Columbia Missourian last year. I was really sick in bed, so I couldn't go to class. So I was sitting in bed all day, watching signing day updates or decisions. They do the hats, the pick the hats decisions, and I was watching those. I was writing. I think I probably wrote 5 or 6 stories that day. I don't remember. But all I could do, I was just really sick, I remember. And all I could do was cover signing day, which was awesome because I love that. But I remember this one was one of the first. This was a big get because Javion Hilson he had not been linked to Missouri much at all. He did visit during the season, but and it was very late in the season though. He was, I don't think a lot of people even had Missouri being on his radar. And then late towards signing day, Missouri's able to get him in the fold. Obviously a big surprise. And it's another one of these things where a late huge addition to your signing day class, immediately transfers. We saw it 2 years ago when Drinkwitz came out of nowhere and beat out Ole Miss for Kewan Lacey. And I think everybody thought he was going to Ole Miss, but he chooses Missouri. It's a huge deal. Doesn't play a ton his freshman year, although, looking back on it, he should have. I think he was better than he was probably the best running back on that team. So anyway, Kewan Lacey joins late in the 2024 class, and then he immediately transfers at the first opportunity he gets. Now it's the same thing with Javion Hilson, who was one of the best players in the country. He was a top 50 recruit according to 247 Sports Composite. It was one of those. There's like this year, there wasn't a ton of surprises on signing day, but this one was one of those things that just had Missouri fans riled up. Like, this was a big, big get for Missouri. It didn't turn out, unfortunately for him and fortunately for Missouri, but it makes you think about, it's now, 2024 and 2025, Missouri has gotten these big time late recruits involved right at the tail end of signing period. And then immediately loses them. So it kind of is exemplary, I believe that's a word, of the changing landscape of college football. And, one of the ways that college football is changing, one of the many ways, but this is, this used to be, I think it used to be really rare where you got a true freshman that didn't play a ton and then immediately transfers without ever getting an opportunity. But now it's happened 2 times in a row for Missouri. I think seeing that, I think it's obvious why Drinkwitz didn't go all in on this high school class this year. It happened again. Williams Winery was another guy that chose Missouri and immediately transferred. So I wonder if we just see Missouri kind of completely stop with the late additions to the class, the late big time additions where they just throw money at a guy. I just don't think it's going to be worth it anymore in this day and age. I think guys will leave. Guys will take money and then they will leave the first chance they get if they don't get an opportunity, if they don't, feel like they're ever going to contribute. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's a signaling of the transfer thing probably being a much bigger priority for Drinkwitz than high school. And I think that's a really good way to go about it. I think your priority should be the portal, roster retention, and then high school at this point, because a lot of these guys don't play, and the guys who do stay oftentimes aren't even your guys that are, really your big contributors. Like, you think about this Missouri team, who are your big time contributors for Missouri that came from high school? I don't know. Joshua Manning, he's leaving though. Marquise Johnson, who knows about him? Brett Norfleet, there you go. Connor Tollison. So it does still happen. I just think it's a rarity these days. And until they get that figured out, until they get it figured out where you can't just leave whenever you want, I think it's going to happen a ton. And I think I don't think you're going to see Missouri pulling in these top 20, top 15 classes anymore, because in high school, because I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it at all.
Missouri, your moment is finally here, because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more. All from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day, the tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense. Just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code ALLMIZZOU. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code ALLMIZZOU. Crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
So that was the first bit of news to come out. He did talk about Zion Young in this press conference, how he's disappointed. Zion Young was booked for a DWI, I think, in Boone County a couple nights ago, or maybe last week. Says they're going to handle it in-house. Don't know if he'll play in the bowl game or not. Not going to touch on that too much. He talked about Kirby Moore. He was asked about, the offensive coordinator job. Credited Kirby Moore for leaving Missouri's offense in a better place than he found it, which is without a doubt true. I mean, he deserves credit for that. In terms of where they go now from coordinator, we won't know until after the bowl game. Drinkwitz was very emphatic about his focus right now is totally 100% on preparing his team to play Virginia in 10 days. And after that, he will be looking to make a hire. And he said a couple things that were pretty encouraging, I would say, about what he wants out of the next offensive coordinator. I think he said our 4 losses this year, our 3 losses last year, our 2 losses the year before that, all of them were due to not being able to convert on third downs and not being able to throw the ball as well as we should or could. And so he said he wants an experienced, battle-tested coordinator to come in here and revitalize the pass game. He mentioned how, Missouri's offense has got the run thing figured out. They've had 3 Doak Walker finalists in the last 5 years or something. I think he said that. So they'll be able to figure out the run game, and they'll incorporate their run game with whoever comes in. Whatever coordinator comes in, they'll marry those 2 things, Missouri's run game and whatever the coordinator likes to do. But basically, he was just saying, we feel good about what we're doing with the run game. So we need someone to come in here and revitalize the pass game and make us a threat there. We have to get better in that regard. And I like that a lot. I think, he mentioned he doesn't want a first-time coordinator. So I think you can kind of cross off Jacob Peeler and Curtis Looper. I think he wants an experienced guy, probably a sitting coordinator at another Power 5 school is what I would guess, just based on how he talked about it, how he wants experience, how he wants, a clear step up. So I don't know. I think that's a great sign. I think he said everything that fans wanted him to say, which is good. I'm excited to see who he chooses. Apparently they're putting together an offensive game plan right now for Virginia. I don't know who's going to call plays. I don't think he didn't say who's going to be that one to actually call plays. I think he mentioned it would be pretty collaborative. He also joked about how he was going to shock fans and announce that himself was going to take over as offensive coordinator, and he was joking and said that fans would be pissed. The fans would be pissed about that. You can't go back to doing that, calling your own plays. But yeah, those were some of the things. Let's keep it moving here. What else did he say? Oh, he talked about he was very open and honest about the way this portal thing's going, transfer portal. Like he mentioned, a lot of these guys will sign 2-year contracts. Like a couple of the guys that have transferred announced their intention to transfer from Missouri are technically under contract with Missouri. They sign a 2-year deal, but every contract has a buyout. So either the player has to pay that buyout or the next school has to pay the buyout. And it's just crazy to me that this is where we are now. I mean, it's like outside of this, you're also getting, I'm seeing Twitter, pictures of, like an official Twitter account for, like I saw one for USC yesterday. The official USC Twitter account post a picture of their guy signing a contract and said he's back. I just think it's crazy that this has become like a year-to-year thing where you have to bring your players back every year. It's not like a foregone conclusion like it used to be. I mean, not even 10 years ago. It used to be like the portal was kind of getting introduced probably about 10 years ago. But I would say it was more rare that guys would go in it. Now it's almost a surprise when you have a player not test out the portal. It's crazy. But yeah, he talked about they have 2-year contracts now, which sounds very, it sounds like the NFL or professional or whatever that have buyouts. And so he said he expected some of these guys that have left or have announced their intention to transfer from Missouri. He expected some of them back. So it's crazy how this is happening. I don't know. I don't know it's really interesting to me how I think at some point in time you're going to have to set some sort of boundary. I don't know. It's also so interesting to me, just college football in general. Is college football the biggest entity or business in the world that doesn't have someone in charge of it? It's like there's no college football commissioner. There's no college football. There's no NCAA commissioner. There's no NCAA, leadership, really. It's like these new things, these new rules, these new, loopholes are just happening because there's no one there to say that's not allowed. We have to put a stop to this. Is there any other company or business or entity in the world or in America that it's just the Wild West? There's no regulation. There's no ground rules. There's no anything. I mean, this is changing faster than the NCAA can even fathom, and they have no one in charge. I guess your closest guy in charge is like the SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, or the Big Ten commissioner. Like those are your big leadership guys, I guess. But to not have one guy who's just the college football commissioner, every time I think about it, it's like, how do you not have anyone in charge of this? I don't know. It's a crazy thing. It's wild. What else happened here? Oh, he talked a little bit about, so basically college football now has a cap on what a team can spend on players. Outside of that, of course, you can do NIL deals from outside third parties that help you pay for players. But now there is a cap, I think like a $20 million cap that a team can actually spend on players. $20.5 million cap. That's from the universities directly to athletes. So that means you have $20.5 million to fill out a roster. And of course, you obviously can use NIL. You can use local businesses, NIL, which is what NIL was originally supposed to be. Just local businesses sponsoring athletes or endorsement deals with local businesses, stuff like that. But yeah, there's this supposed cap that I'm sure there's plenty of loopholes how to get around that. But Drinkwitz was saying, like, we only have so much money to spend on all of these guys. And he was talking about Jamal Roberts and how he was like, Ahmad Hardy's an All-American, but Jamal Roberts is one of the best running backs in the country.